With there being a brand new map just around the corner, I think it's about time we go over some tips and tricks to make sure that you are ready for this brand new map release. Now, the first thing that we're going to talk about is having a loadout prepared for when this new map drops. I would recommend something similar to what we've got going right here, as this covers every single class range. We've got the Malmar 7mm Magnum from the Hunter Power Pack DLC. This is one of the more lightweight rifles that covers up to class 9 and still includes class 4. If you were to go with the single shot one, it's like a full extra unit of carrying capacity, and that would make it so you'd have to sacrifice having the shotgun. So I do recommend that it's probably best to build your loadout with some lightweight weapons that cover all of the class ranges. That's why I went with the 7mm bolt action, the Virant 22, the 243 handgun, as well as the pump action Cacciatore 12 gauge. And of course the polymer tip and polymer tip equivalent ammunition for all of those rifles, along with the 3 different rounds for the 12 gauge. We also have my scopes of choice, which is the Hyperion and the Red Raptor Reflex Sight. The Red Raptor for the shotgun, the Hyperion for everything else. You can also use the Argus if you prefer that scope. I've opted not to go with any types of collars, as they're like half a unit a piece, and that can add up if you start stacking a bunch of them. And the reason that we're not going to do that is because I want to save room for not only the med kit and the binoculars, but also tents, because this is going to be a vital part of setting up for a brand new map. The next thing that we are going to talk about is earning enough money to make sure that you have at least 16 tents and tripods. I know that's quite the tall task, but having 16 tents will greatly make things a lot easier when it comes time to have this new map and explore it and unlock it. You'll be able to place those tents at all of the locations that you find along the way that you want to be able to access quickly. And in order to get those tents, you are going to need to earn some money if you don't already have it, because last time I checked, it's over 300,000 to be able to purchase 16 tents and 16 tripods. I just did the math and it comes out to around 512,000 currency in order to get 16 tents and 16 tripods. I do recommend at least getting up to 256k so you can get the 16 tents. The tripods are optional, but I recommend definitely having those tents ready to go. And if you are a newer player that doesn't have a lot of options in terms of money-making abilities, I would probably recommend going for something like the whitetail deer, which is quite easy to kill with pretty much any of the rifles in the game that cover its class range. But it's definitely not going to be your best option for making money. But if you are in a position where you don't have the guns to take down some of the bigger stuff, whitetail may just be the best way to gain a little bit of money, since they do die pretty easily and they're quite plentiful here on Layton Lake District. And now, if you are a player that has been playing the game for a lot longer, or you've just been able to purchase some of the DLCs, you're likely going to want to go with something other than whitetail, and I definitely recommend red deer on Te Awaroa. Not only are they incredibly plentiful, but they give a lot of money. In my opinion, red deer is the #1 way to make money in this game, provided you have access to Te Awaroa, because this map not only has them very, very thick throughout all of the lakes, but there's not a ton of lakes that you have to go to find all of your red deer. So it makes it a really easy way to get a lot of money racked up, and even the females give a really good amount of money. And of course, they just pushed him out of the way so I couldn't shoot him. Well, that's quite unfortunate, but we'll take down her as well. Here we go. We got more of them coming towards us, and that is going to be 2 more dead red deer. And that is actually going to be a decent amount of money just among those 4 that we took down. The crazy thing about the red deer is even a female red deer gives you 1,000 cash, and that's without the consecutive harvest bonus all the way up, which would give you even more. We grab our second one, and it's already up to 1,100 with that 60% consec harvest bonus. So you can see how just shooting a bunch of red deer could really make the money stack up. At this point, we should be at 80% consecutive harvest, and we're getting 1,163, which means this next one should give us close to 1,200, which is a lot of money for a female red deer. This should be the last of the females, and that is going to give us 1,223 cash with all of the bonuses to the max. That's honestly crazy. This is why red deer are one of the best ways to make money. That was just 4 females, and we made around close to 5,000 cash. Now let's go ahead and get a male down as well so we can kind of compare how much a male will give you versus what the females will give you. We should be at full consecutive harvest because we haven't shot anything since we picked up that last one. That right there is going to be a vital hit, but one more just for good measure. So here is this little level 4 male. Let's see how much money it gives us. 1,389, and that is the low end of what you will get for a male. This guy being a level 4, he's not going to give as much as something like a level 7 or a level 8 would. Those typically give over 1,500 cash, and in some cases over 1,600, making them just an insane way to get money overall. Now, if you want to really go for red deer to get a lot of money, you're going to want to hunt all of these lakes that are in the upper half of the map. All of the lakes above this river, except for this one right here. This is the only lake that will not have them. Everything else will have red deer, even this one in the top left. There's also a couple spots on the river, this location here, and this little stretch right here. And if you want to check down here, red deer can also be at the tip of this little lake. And that's all you really need to know about red deer and making money with them. So let's go ahead and look at the next way that you can earn money for the brand new map. And I'm sure many of you guys guessed it, the next one is lions. Lions are a phenomenal way to earn money. They give a little bit more than what the red deer give on average, and that scared the crap out of me. But yeah, they give a little bit more than red deer do on average. However, you will be finding slightly less of them, so that is something to take into account. However, this lake right here is an absolute gold mine for lions. You may notice that there's a lot of hunting pressure. And that's because this is really the only lake that I have been grinding for lions anytime that I hunt them. This is one of the only lakes on the entire map where you can repeatedly delete their need zones and they will always come back here. Definitely recommend hunting this lake for the lions if you want to earn some money hunting them. The next tip that I have is to go through your lodge and figure out what types of trophies you want to replace. If you've been playing the game for a while, chances are you've got most of your lodge filled, or at least the majority of it. And so I do recommend going through and making sure that you have places to put all of the brand new animals. With a new map comes new animals, and that means new diamonds, new rares, and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that you got some room for it. I definitely recommend going through your lodge and looking at stuff you could potentially remove. Like, for example, right here, I've got 3 different Bobcat diamonds, which I really don't need all 3 of them here. Even though they're different fur variations, I'll probably just end up keeping my favorite here and opening up a couple of these mounts for some of the new species, like the stubble quail. And of course, stuff like this, where maybe you've got 2 of something and you could remove 1 of them. I'll probably end up removing this white-tailed deer right here because I'm pretty sure I've got better ones up in this lodge anyway. And same goes for some of these mule deer. I don't necessarily need 4 diamond mule deer in the same room, though they do look nice with all the different racks. I could probably remove 1 of them if need be to make room for some of the new species. And most likely I would just end up putting these ones that I removed into one of my other lodges and putting some of the new species here in the main lodge. So I definitely recommend doing that if you're going to be hunting the new map quite a bit and you're not sure if you're going to have enough room in your lodge. Definitely recommend going through and figuring out what trophies you could replace. This is something I probably should have mentioned when we were talking about loadouts, but make sure you have plenty of ammo stocked up. You're going to need it when a new map is dropping, because let's be honest, you're going to want to shoot everything that you see to get a good look at all the new species. So I recommend stocking up on at least a few hundred of whatever caliber you're going to be using primarily to make sure that you got plenty to take down whatever crosses your path. Another thing I definitely recommend is to save up on money to taxidermize different animals, because if you get something rare, like a rare fur type or a diamond of the new species, obviously you're going to want to tax it and put it in your lodge, and you're going to need money for that, so make sure to earn a little bit extra money. That way you've got all the tents that I talked about earlier, and have a little bit left over for ammo and taxing trophies. This is probably just going to be part 1. I do think there's probably going to be other tips and tricks that I think about as I'm editing this video. So, of course, stay tuned for any potential videos we drop in the future with more tips and tricks. I'm just going to call this part 1 because it's very likely that I will think of more stuff to put into another video. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope this at least helps you guys get started on your journey to earning all the money for tents and stuff for the brand new map. And let me know in the comments if this was a helpful video and if you'd like to see more content like this. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, as it does help out quite a bit, and turn on the notifications if you haven't already. Otherwise, you're not going to get notified whenever I do post new content. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace!